customer states car is sluggish on acceleration and struggles getting over 40 miles per hour. So I hopped in the car to go for a test drive, turned the key on, and the check engine light is flashing. The oil light is flashing. And I go, I'm not driving this car anywhere. So first step of this diagnostic is I'm gonna see if there's oil in it, because also the change oil light was flashing saying that there was 4,000 miles past when they were supposed to change the oil.
That didn't look promising.
No. No oil. I'm kind of willing to bet that that's just from scraping down the side. I don't think there's any oil in this thing. So I didn't hear any kind of, oh yeah, that's dry as a bone. I'm not going to turn this on again. I'm going to go check the codes though, with our little top-down scanner. We have a video on that, but little Bluetooth scanner. I'm going to see what codes are there, and I hope there's some oil in this. It didn't make any noise, but doesn't mean it's not destroyed. It is a Hyundai. Looking at the codes, there's 2. 3, because one is a double, but there's 2 different codes. One is exhaust camshaft position B, or bank 1, whatever, but timing over advanced, which could be the fact that there's no oil in this. The other one is P1326, which is knock sensor or knock signal range performance. We have another video on this, and the other reason why I checked the engine is because this is a 2017 Hyundai, and they have a problem. And the problem is that they essentially throw rods constantly. And this code, I'm pretty sure, we're going to look it up, but this 1326 is a code that comes up and it has a TSB. And the first thing it asks you is there oil in the engine? That's another reason why I checked that. The second thing it asks you, if there's oil in the engine, is there a hole in the block? And if there isn't a hole in the block, then you see if the engine turns, because it sees. So let's go see what these codes are. So this is the trouble tree that I was talking about. This one's a little bit more plain. So diagnostics, it has the 1326 freeze frame data and whatever. Does crank rotate? Yes, no. If it rotates, you are supposed to take the oil pan off and inspect the engine bearings. If it doesn't, replace the engine. And then perform a engine or ECU update, software update, clear the DTC and continue. So I'm gonna talk to him because I don't know if he wants to pay for a bearing inspection, because it's pretty much doing what they would consider rod bearings in this, in several hours for sure. I could just say, let's put oil in it and see if it gets better. Because it has no oil. Well, I talked to the customer and he did agree with me we should just do an oil change and see what happens. Because looking at the rod bearings and the main bearings is not really an exploratory kind of thing. If you're worried about that, I told him we're going to cut open the oil filter and see what happens. He also said that it's not leaking on the ground, so he's wondering where the oil's going. And I said, yeah, it could be burning it, stuff like that. But I want to show you guys this. So one, we definitely have a drip there. And if the rear crank seal is leaking, which it looks like it is, if it is, then it only leaks when it's running. And then the other thing that I want to say is be wary of any company that puts this felt stuff as an under tray, because this felt stuff soaks up oil. A solid plastic one won't, so it'll find its way somewhere and it'll be on your driveway. This, it'll take a lot of a drip to get this to show up on a driveway. So this is kind of just a red flag that the company's like, we know we're kind of shitty, but you don't have to see it in your driveway. So we're gonna just see how much oil comes out of this because I'm really curious. Well, this is about all that came out. We had a technical difficulty and we didn't get the drop, but there was no stream. It just came out.
Let's put it back in.
So this goes to another thing of mine, right? A pet peeve. I want to talk to you guys right now. It's level with me, right? When it comes to oil changes, mechanics are not telling you need an oil change because they want to rip you off. Shops don't even make much on oil changes. I think if we do an oil change on we just finished one on a new Ranger, we make like $30 on an oil change. And that's, with our discounts and stuff like that you guys can't get on oils. So we're not doing it to rip you off. It's literally the easiest way to make sure your car runs. Because if this didn't go 3,700 and whatever miles over the oil change light, it might be fine. He even said, I just got an oil change in October. I'm like, that's cool. Oh, it's not here anymore. Sure, there's some places that, will overcharge for like doing suspension work or you're taking an engine out, or you guys think that it's unfair for 20 hours to repair an engine, but we're here for you. That's all I can say. And we can only help you so much. Change your oil. We're going to record taking the oil filter off because we didn't get the drain plug. But this should also show you how much oil is in this car, because I don't think there was enough for the pickup tube to pick up oil. So if you've ever taken off an oil filter, you know that as soon as it starts turning, oh, yep, there's some oil in there. That's a good sign. Well, there's some, but
Sort of.
there was more oil in the oil filter than in the oil pan. All right, let's cut this thing open. All right. The reason why we did that is so that we minimize any kind of metal that we might put into the filter, because then that will defeat this whole thing. Ah. Ooh. Oh yeah, this one's done. You see all those up here? Metal, there's metal flakes everywhere in this thing. Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yep.
Yeah, that is. Well, we don't have to take apart the engine to know the bearings are destroyed. So, good news.